Okay, so we're going to learn how to add horizontal and vertical vectors using a graphical method. But the first thing I'm going to do is introduce 4 basic vectors. The first one is going to be the x vector that points in a positive x direction. And next is going to be the y vector that points in the positive y direction. And then the negative x vector that points in the negative x direction. And the last one's going to be the negative y vector that points in a negative y direction. And we're also going to assume that these vectors are all going to have a length of 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our first example. So we're going to have the vector 3x, so length of 3, positive x direction. And to this vector, we're going to add the vector y. So, and what we want to find out is the resultant vector, and this one, I'm going to call it RC. All right, so let's just try to do this just with the arrows. So I'm going to move the first arrow, and then I want to take the second arrow, and I'm going to place the tail of the second arrow onto the tip of the first arrow. So now let me just do it from scratch. So draw the first vector, 3x. Well, I guess we don't really need the letters. And then draw the second vector, y. And the resultant vector is going to have the same tail as the first vector and the same tip as the second vector. So this is going to be the resultant vector. So it's going to look like this. And this is going to be RC, which is going to equal 3x vector plus y. All right, let's do one more. So now we're going to add the vector minus x to the vector minus 2y. And we want to find the resultant vector, and this one I'm going to call it RD. Okay, so first thing is to draw the first vector, and you want to take the second vector and place the tail of the second vector onto the tip of the first. So it should look like that. So onto the tip of the first vector, I'm going to draw the tail of the second. And now the resultant vector is going to have the same tail as the first vector and the same tip as the last vector. And it's going to point in this direction. And so this vector here is going to be vector RD. And that should equal minus x minus 2y. And if you notice here, like I said before, the sum always has the tip, get a better color, the tip of one vector in contact with the tail of the second vector. So tip tail again. All right.